Hey guys, welcome back to Doing It DIY. If you're new here, my name is Allison. Welcome. I hope that you'll consider subscribing so that we can DIY together. Today I have 3 super easy Dollar Tree planters that we've kicked up a notch and made them high end. Everything you need to complete these projects is in the description box below. We're going to go ahead and get started with project number 1, these super easy planter stands. I've seen them from IKEA, from Walmart, from Kirkland's. Mine only cost a couple dollars, so I hope you guys love them. Everything you need is on the screen. We're just going to start with a couple of terracotta pots and a combination of sterling silver and gunmetal gray metallic FolkArt paint mixed together. We're going to just give a coat to both of these. I do end up going back and changing the terracotta out for some plastic planters, but it's the same colors that I'm using. And once this dries, what I actually do is take a sponge and some of the sterling silver and just dab it everywhere to give it a galvanized still look. I will give you guys a link above to a step-by-step on how to do that because I don't really show you in this video, but it's the exact same process. Now we're going to go ahead and take a pack of tumbling tower blocks, and I'm just using this little metal square that I got from Lowe's just to make sure that they're straight and even, and we're going to make 8 rows of 4 and 4 rows of 3. Now, these tumbling tower blocks look all the same size from kind of far away, but once you start to do something like this, you'll realize that they might not be. So my advice is to lay them out ahead of time before you glue them. I'm just using some Surebond or wood glue. Lay them out ahead of time to make sure that all of the pieces are even because we want to make this stand up. It's a planter stand, of course, and you don't want it to be wobbly. So as long as they're even, you will be good. And this is everything that we need. What we're going to do is take 2 pieces of the 3 tumbling tower blocks, and we're going to mark right in the middle. And then I'm just going to take this miter square box that I got from Lowe's as well and cut that in half. These tumbling tower blocks cut extremely easily. I promise you, they're not much worse than the paint sticks from Lowe's. So just cut one of those straight in half. Actually, we're going to cut 2 of those in half. And the reason we're going to do this is because once we hook this together, we want it to look like one seamless piece. And this was the best way to achieve that. So this is all of the pieces that you should need at this point. And we're going to take 2 of the long pieces, and we're just going to take our planter and put it in the middle, trying to get us a good idea of the size that we need to make this. And what we're going to do is take one of the 3-piece little sections, and we're going to put some hot glue on the end, and we're going to glue it directly in the middle where the 2 pieces on the long end meet right in the middle. I promise you it doesn't sound like it makes sense, but if you see what I'm doing, it makes perfect sense. We're just going to make this into a little wooden H, a little goal post, you know, the thing that, is that what it's called for football? Goal post? Where they do the touchdown, where they kick the field goal, whatever it's called. We want it to look like that. And of course you see that it stands up. And then we're just going to take one of the pieces that we cut in half and glue it exactly in the middle on one of the other long pieces, and then take the other piece and do the exact same thing. So once we get ready to assemble this, we'll have 3 pieces that we need to assemble. And we're just taking it and setting it straight up to see exactly where we want to glue this at, because, you know, once we glue it, it's kind of pretty much there. And that's exactly what it's going to look like in the end. You want to make sure that your pot fits before you hook everything together, and then you're just going to take some hot glue and glue it again directly in the middle where the 2 pieces meet. And this is why we cut it in half, so that it looks like one seamless piece all the way across. And then you'll see that these are the plastic planters, again from the Dollar Tree. They're the ones that I switched to. And this is, sorry about that, I got a notification. This is what our little plant stands look like once they are glued together. I did take a small craft stick and put it on the bottom of the pieces that we had to glue together just to give it a little bit more stability. Now we're going to take some Waverly chalk paint in the color hazelnut and some water, and we're going to mix them together to make a DIY stain. If you guys have been around for any length of time at all, you'll probably know that my old favorite as far as DIY paint stains are concerned is jet black and brown oxide. I like this one even a little bit more. It's a lot more natural colored wood. It's not far off from the actual tumbling tower blocks. It's just a better natural color. But I really like this. It has a little bit more of a yellow undertone, which I'm really digging lately. So this is my favorite. You guys can use any stain that you want. You can do any combination of paints that you want as well to make a DIY stain. And that's why I like the paint so much. It's just so much easier and you can customize it. And that is what the planters look like once they are painted with that galvanized steel look. And that's what our planter stands look like. Again, I love them when they dry. I love the color. Now we're just going to take some Dollar Tree floral foam and some Spanish moss and some of these cute little succulents. My dollar store, not my dollar store, my Dollar Tree has just recently gotten those in stock. I don't know if that's something that they're supposed to have all the time, but mine really don't. But they have so many pretty colors, and I just love them so much. So I knew I wanted to use them for this DIY. And all I'm going to do is just cut the floral foam down so that it fits in the bottom. We're going to leave the succulents in the little planters that they came in. We're just using the floral foam as more of a base so that they set up a little bit higher. So we're going to glue the floral foam directly to the planter, and then we're going to take the succulent in the little planter that it comes in and glue that directly to the floral foam. Super easy. And once we've done that, we're just going to take our Spanish moss and I'm going to just put it all around the sides of our succulents. I'm not going to glue it down. That's all there is to it. Once we put them in the planter stands, I hope you guys love this one as much as I did. All right, next up is the easiest project ever. I found these super cute lemon napkins at the Dollar General tonight, and I knew I needed to use them in a DIY. We're just going to take a couple terracotta pots, again from the Dollar Tree. Mine were painted black. If you have Waverly chalk paint in the color Peacock, it's almost perfect with those napkins if you can find them. Go ahead and paint your little pots that color, because I didn't, and I did only use one ply on the napkin, and you can see the black through it. It was perfectly okay for me, but just an FYI. What we're going to do is take some Modpodge. I used the waterproof, the kind that can go in the dishwasher. You can definitely use regular Modpodge. It doesn't have to be anything like that. I planned on putting mine in the kitchen. I knew that there was a bigger chance they could get wet, so that's why I went with that. We're just going to paint that Modpodge all on the outside of our planter, and then we are going to smooth our napkin on it as well, making sure that you get the bottom and the inside so it's seamless and pretty and there are no jagged edges. Super easy. And then once you have your napkin glued down on the inside on the actual pot, then you're going to go ahead and take your brush in your Modpodge and paint over the napkin. And this particular Modpodge does take like 28 days to completely cure, but it dries to not sticky in about an hour or so. And that's what they look like. Super easy. You can use any napkins you want. I just love these napkins and I thought it was super cute, so I wanted to add it in here. And our last project is this super cute little house number planter. I don't even know what to call it, but I love it so much. I found this project, I think it was a Pier 1 Imports piece of decor, and I knew I had to do it. So if I can find that, I'll link it above. I'm just taking a rectangular, this is a 4th of July sign. You guys know you can use any of the signs they have from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to give it one coat of paint of the Waverly chalk paint in the color Hazelnut. We're also going to use a Dollar Tree wooden crate, and we're going to paint that as well on the front and the sides and the very bottom. You can leave one side blank because we're just going to glue it straight to the back piece, and it's a little bit easier to glue it straight on if it doesn't have paint. But you're just going to do one coat of paint on each of those. If you can see some of the base color through it, that's perfectly okay. Unless you use the glittery side, then you definitely want to give it a few coats and probably sand it first as well. But we're going to do a faux wood technique, and you don't have to have a very solid background to do that. But first we're going to take some of the Dollar Tree numbers, and we're going to take some Waverly chalk paint in the color ink, and you can use another color here. If you wanted something to match your shutters or your front door, you could definitely do that. I just chose black because I love the combination of the black and the antique wax that we're going to use in a second. I think it looks really high-end, and I think it looks really good together. So I'm just going to take that and paint the entire front side and the sides and inside the little holes on my numbers and set those to the side and let them dry. Then we're going to take our Waverly antique wax. We're going to do the faux wood technique. So you're just going to take a brush and make sure that you're doing full even strokes from one side to another. As you can kind of see me, it's sped up a little bit, but you can kind of get the gist of what I'm doing. I do fill in on the sides, but then I always go back over so it's one solid motion from one end to another, because that's what is going to give us the faux wood grain. So as you look at it and you see some of the colors come through, that's what it's going to look like when it dries. That's why I love that hazelnut color, because it really does mimic the different tones and colors of real wood. So we're just going to give that one good coat, and then we're going to take our little brush and do a little swirls and all that stuff to make it look like wood grain. Then we're going to repeat the exact same process onto our crate. Because it is raw wood on the crate, I didn't do the little knots, but you can if you want. And that's what it looks like when we're done. Super easy, it dries super quick. Now we're going to take our crate and we're going to attach it to the very bottom in the middle of our sign. And this is going to be our little planter basket. And I'm just using a combination of hot glue for an instant hold and E6000 for a long-term hold. And the reason I'm using both of them is because this is going to go outside, and it gets hot here in Ohio in the summer. It's really, really hot, and there's a good chance the hot glue could have came loose. So the E6000 is just going to make sure that doesn't happen. And then I'm going to use the same combination to glue the letters onto the crate. And I don't show this, but then I also do go give a few coats of the same Modpodge, the waterproof Modpodge, because it's going to go outside. I don't want anything to run. I want the colors to be pretty for as long as possible. So I do go over the entire piece with a few coats of that. And we're just going to, there's my head. Every single video, the top of my head makes an appearance. It's fine. We're just going to glue those letters or those numbers onto our little crate. And then I'm just taking these three little, they're in concrete. It looks like little floral pieces that I got from the Dollar General, and I'm going to put them inside, and that is really it. I love this project so much. I hope you guys found something that you liked. I hope you found something that you wanted to recreate. If you guys like this video, definitely give it a big thumbs up. If you guys have ideas for my next DIY, definitely let me know. If you're not subscribed, I hope that you will consider doing that, because I'd love to have you as part of the Doing It DIY family. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys again next week. Bye-bye.